Hello, I'm Rasheen, owner and clinical lead at Allure Aesthetics. You are listening to Allure Unmasked, where we uncover the world of aesthetics, the good, the bad and the ugly. If you're interested in the world of aesthetics and the aging process and how we can help you feel and look your best internally and externally, then you're in the right place.
Hi everyone and welcome back to our podcast, Allure Unmasked. So today we are sat with Hannah, who is a dietitian, and today we're going to be talking about a few things from menopause to collagen supplements, etc. So Hannah, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for a living and how you got into it all.
So I am a registered dietitian. So I've been qualified nearly 20 years now, which is a bit scary.
Long time.
And kind of have worked in various different settings from the NHS until about maybe 7 or 8 years ago when I worked in industry for a little while and set up my freelance business as well. So as part of that, I see private clients for a variety of different reasons, from IBS to menopause to weight loss, diabetes, support going through different conditions for cancer treatments, things like that. So it's quite broad, and do some consultancy work as well alongside that for different supplement companies and medical nutrition companies. So it's quite a diverse...
it's very interesting. You obviously do such a wide range of different things.
Yeah.
You're not doing the same thing every day, so it must be
it
must be a lot of fun to do these kind of things.
Yeah,
chats with different people, getting to know a bit more about people, and obviously different supplements, things like that.
Yeah, so a lot of it is kind of more clinical treatment of conditions, so and individualised, personalised nutrition with clients depending on what their needs are, what their different conditions are, because people don't get things in isolation. So they might be going through the menopause, but they also might have diabetes, or they might have different conditions and comorbidities that go alongside their kind of nutritional challenges at that time. So it's very personalised and kind of one-to-one based on what people eat, what people's routines are, regimes, family lives, all of that kind of thing.
Everything affects us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Family life, different busy jobs, people who do shift work as well, that obviously has an impact on people and people's health and things like that as well, isn't it? Going back to menopause, I've also got a couple of questions on here as well, which some of our listeners have popped in suggestion boxes. So obviously going back to menopause, what is the menopause? Obviously, every woman goes through the menopause. We've all got to go through it at some point in our lives. Just for a bit of background information on people who might not have, or not at that age yet, maybe, people who obviously haven't even thought about menopause yet, younger women. So just for a bit of information, like, what is the menopause? What does it entail? Like, what have we got to look forward to with this?
So every woman will go through menopause at some point, whether that's a natural process or it's a process that's brought on by surgery or medications or different things. And meno basically means your menstrual cycle, and pause means stop. And what when we actually say somebody has been through the menopause happens 12 months after a woman has their last period.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a retrospective look back. You don't know that you've been through the menopause until 12 months after that you've had that last period. Yeah. But you can be premenopausal, perimenopausal, so going through a period of time that you are experiencing kind of menopausal type symptoms.
That's always kind of confusing, that when they say perimenopause and you think, well, I just kind of thought to myself before I even looked into this much, your periods just become irregular, or they just kind of suddenly stop and then you've just gone through menopause. But obviously then people talk about, perimenopause. People can be like perimenopause for many years, is it, before the menopause?
And perimenopause is the time really that people tend to have the symptoms. The menopause is when the kind of the changes have happened in the body, and some people, it's very different for every individual. Some people will experience symptoms for longer or shorter time periods. Some people will go through the menopause at different ages. So in the UK it tends to happen between 45 and 50 or early 50s, but the average age of the menopause is 51. But different people get different symptoms. Some people will go through and not really have any problematic symptoms. Other people, it can be quite debilitating and have quite severe symptoms that have big effects in terms of kind of their life, relationships, work, things like that. And I mean, it's really reassuring now that menopause is being spoken about more. People are talking about it more.
People weren't really talking about it much. And like for something that every woman goes through, you think it would be such a big topic that would be everywhere on the news, you know, more talked about than anything else really. Yeah. So it's good now that people are obviously feeling more confident to speak up and seek more help, because, you know, sometimes it's because it's such a complex variety, I suppose, of symptoms and things. It's not always easily picked up on. Like, you know, I'm 33, so like, you know, women in their 30s, do they usually get like perimenopause and things like that? They probably do, don't they?
It varies really. I mean, some people can go through early menopause and can experience symptoms. Some people, if they have kind of surgery and have gynecological surgery, then that can trigger an early menopause. So I think different people can experience it at different times. It can be early, it can be late, but the kind of the most common period of time is kind of your late 40s, early 50s to go through it. But there is a lot more support now. There seems to be a lot more support emerging in workplaces to support women going through the menopause, which there wasn't previously.
It's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Does it affect, you know, like bones and things like that? Because I've obviously heard, like, I can remember my mum, like, she's obviously gone through the menopause, and I can remember one Christmas, she literally, the fall was the most patheticest fall I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. It wasn't even worth it, but she'd broken her metatarsal in her foot. Yeah. So for something so simple as that, for her to kind of just break her metatarsal, I was thinking this is obviously to do with, you know, menopause, maybe like low estrogen levels, is it, which causes like more brittle bones?
Yeah, so basically, as you go through menopause, women are born with a finite number of eggs in their ovaries. As they basically run out, your estrogen levels go down, and the estrogen levels dropping is what tends to cause the symptoms of the menopause. But it also puts women at higher risk of other conditions as they age. So particularly osteoporosis, so estrogen has a protective effect on your bones, but also cardiovascular disease as well. So it does put you at higher risk. So you do need to be mindful if you're going through the menopause that you are protecting your bones, making sure that you're getting enough calcium and vitamin D. And also, even before you get to the menopause, thinking about it much earlier on in life, making sure that you kind of develop as much of your peak, what we call peak bone mass, which is as much calcium in your bones as you possibly can do by having a good diet, but also doing kind of resistance exercise as well to make sure that you've got the good calcium stores. But you're right, as you go through the menopause, you are losing that protective effect of estrogen on your bones, so making sure that you do focus on bone health is really important.
So what kind of effect does it have on the heart then?
So on the heart, it increases your risk of cardiovascular disease. So that affects the whole of your cardiovascular system. So that's your heart, all of your blood vessels, and it can affect your arteries, and it can put you at higher risk of having things like strokes or heart attacks. So it's really important in terms of diet, looking at that, to make sure that you're following a heart healthy diet. So that is choosing the right types of fats, so not having lots of saturated meat-based fats, having your kind of healthy olive oils, oily fish, omega-3 fatty acids, but also doing all the other like heart healthy things, which include making sure that you have a really diverse plant-based diet as well, with smaller amounts of kind of your processed meats and those kind of protein sources, having a really good fibre intake, not having so much salt in your diet, choosing kind of the more foods that you would cook from scratch or have lower kind of processing and salt and fat levels.
What about like more fruit and veg?
So along with the plant-based kind of diet, predominantly plant-based, that includes your fruit, vegetables, beans, pulses, nuts, seeds, herbs and spices. So really basing your meals around those foods is really important, and also the diversity of those foods as well. So not always just having banana, strawberries and raspberries and carrots, broccoli and cauliflower, making sure that you have a variety of all of the different types, a real rainbow of foods.
Because obviously with fruit, like some people say obviously it's got sugars, but they're natural sugars, like they are good for you, aren't they?
They are natural sugars, and they are, as long as you're not adding any extra sugar to them. So if you have a bowl of strawberries, don't add.
See, I'm a bugger for that.
The extra.
I love having strawberries with a bit of sugar.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be like, I'll pop a little bit more on, because this is my downfall, like this is really informative for me as well, because I want to eat better. Because obviously we're introducing longevity into the clinic as well. We all need to be on this journey now where we are eating better, supplements as well. Obviously we'll go on to that in a minute. But it's just getting to know what is best for you, because like with me, if I obviously you're telling me this information now, so I'm quite thankful for that, but if I was to research it, I'm not a big researcher, I get bored of doing things like that, so like that's why we wanted to do these podcasts and things like that, because it makes it more informative, because I love listening to a podcast. I take more information in from those kind of things, but food wise, you talk to people about fruit and then they say, there's a lot of sugar in fruit, shouldn't be eating so much fruit and stuff, so obviously it's confusing then, isn't it?
It is,
and like I heard, like as long as you're not kind of like blending the fruit, as long as you keep it, is that right? Keeping it in its natural form, then it's okay.
How you process foods changes how they react in the body.
Yeah.
So fruit as a whole has got all of the fibre and the sugars and everything all kind of combined in a structure. As soon as you blend that and break that down, it means that it has got the same amount of sugar in it, but it will be absorbed more quickly potentially by the body, because you've already done a bit of the digesting in a way by processing it and blending it down beforehand. So certainly having the fruits in their kind of more natural form will mean that the body will digest them slower, which means that your blood sugar levels will be much more level and will rise more slowly, go down more slowly, and you won't get the kind of sugar peaks and troughs which you don't want, and that can quite often cause these kind of then cravings for more sugar. So what you want to do is have regular kind of balanced meals that are high in fibre, what we call low glycemic index, which means that they get absorbed slowly by the body and not absorbed really rapidly by the body. So there's different ways that foods are absorbed and react in the body depending on what process or form that they're in.
What would you kind of recommend for like a typical day then? So like for breakfast, for lunch, dinner, tea, if people have more than 3 meals a day?
So, I mean, the main thing is that you base your meals around whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and then you have a small amount of lean protein alongside it, complex high fibre carbohydrates, and avoid things like the processed refined foods, things like white breads.
I love white bread. That's all I eat is white bread. And everyone says you should be doing the 50-50 or whole meal is better then.
Granary is probably granary or seeded bread would be better, because you're getting all of these different seeds and grains in there as well. So it's making sure that you have the right, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a right food to have at any meal time, but you have the right balance of the foods that you have.
I've got one of those plates, those plates that it's like cornered off in sections, so it'd be like your fish and your meat and your fruit and your veg and stuff like that. But I'm looking at the plate, I think that's not big enough. But obviously that's what we should be reducing our food sizes to, really, isn't it, for like obviously a healthy balanced diet and things like that. So with estrogen then, obviously you've talked about like the different foods in our diet. What about supplements then?
So I guess the supplements that you would kind of look at for menopause are mainly kind of driven by symptom control. So symptoms that are quite problematic in terms of hot flushes, sleep disturbances, those kind of things. So, and also kind of feeling fatigued, tired, brain fog, those kind of things. So, for those, in terms of supplements, there's no kind of conclusive evidence that says any supplement or herbal supplement would be definitely recommended. But 1 in 4 people do take supplements to support their menopause symptoms, and some people get some relief from them. So it's very individual, but there isn't any specific supplement that I would say everybody with menopause should definitely take. The things that can really help in terms of symptoms, particularly for hot flushes and things, are making sure that you have a really good intake of fruit and vegetables, beans and pulses that contain phytoestrogens, which are a chemical within foods that has a similar kind of estrogen-like function. So that's soya foods, so things like tofu, soya milks, soya minces, and yogurts and things like that are made from soya beans as well. All of those contain kind of the phytoestrogens, which in some people can help. But mainly having a really good intake of the different types of fruits and vegetables. Studies have shown that people that eat more of those tend to have less symptoms in terms of the hot flushes, but also things like ethnicity can affect that as well. Genetics, all sorts of different things, but in general, really focusing on that. In terms of the sleep disturbances, caffeine is a stimulant, and reducing your caffeine intake, changing to decaffeinated options, or even if you can't completely switch, then avoiding it in the afternoons can really help with sleep. And then balancing your energy levels in terms of, like we talked about a moment ago, having kind of regular balanced meals that are low glycemic index, that slow release throughout the day, is really important. And then so that will stop you having the real kind of sugar lows and feeling like you need to kind of go and grab something and eat it quickly, kind of thing.
And like with heat, because obviously you just mentioned coffee, like I do like to drink coffee, but I'm finding lately, I don't know whether it's because I'm getting older or what, but I've noticed that if I do have like 1 or 2 coffees, the shaking and the anxiety that I feel, I've only just picked up on it for the last like few months, you know, and I'm just thinking, oh, maybe I should change to more decaf, because obviously when I was pregnant I would have decaf, you know, and only like 1 coffee every now and again. But it's obviously, would you say that there's any like herbal teas and things like that that is quite beneficial to like gut health and different things?
So I think it depends on what you like, really. I think if you with the caffeine, it can definitely kind of affect gut symptoms, it can affect anxiety, so I think if you are feeling those symptoms, then it's something to think about. But there wouldn't be a specific herbal tea. You've got to watch out that some herbal teas still do contain caffeine. So green tea, for example, will still contain caffeine. But having a different variety of the different types of teas, again, if you think about the variety of different herbs, spices, foods and plant foods to have, then having a variety would be good. And making sure that you're hydrated in general is going to be
that's something
positive.
I do definitely more of, is drink more water. Because like my friends joke, they say you know, if you drink water today, we'll drink more water today. But obviously for me, like, it's something I definitely need to drink more of, because sometimes I could go, and this sounds terrible, but I could literally go all day without drinking anything. And by the evening, I think, oh, I haven't had a drink today. And then I'll have like a couple of glasses of water maybe. But obviously drinking consecutively throughout the day is obviously better for you. Even skin, you know, skin health, you know, it's hydrating.
Skin elasticity. For all your general health, if you think your body is predominantly made up of water, if you're not keeping that hydrated, then it affects every kind of function that goes on in your body. So definitely that's one of the key things, particularly for gut health as well, is making sure that you're staying hydrated, having enough fluids. And it's putting in place just like strategies throughout the day, like fill yourself up one of those bottles that has the measurements on it, know how many that you get through in the day, and even really simple things like, how many times did I go for a wee today? Yeah.
Yes.
Because if you haven't been for a wee, then you haven't drunk enough water.
I think I just had a wee. I've just had one wee.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think, oh my gosh, I need to drink more water.
Yeah,
obviously.
and even having a quick look what the colour is as well.
Yes.
If it's dark, then you need to drink more water. So really like thinking about actually your kind of bodily functions and
exactly,
how that is like showing you what you need
as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to bring it back now to collagen, because this is obviously a big thing. Like we obviously, you know, the treatments that we do here promote more collagen, elastin, and different things.
Yeah.
So what is collagen? So for our listeners, to explain, what is collagen? You know, and does it work for your hair and different things like that also, like collagen supplements then?
Yeah, so collagen is essentially a protein.
Yeah.
So 30% of the protein in your body is made up of collagen.
Yeah.
And collagen provides structure, essentially, in the body. So skin, ligaments, tendons. So it basically holds the body up, essentially. And it's made up of amino acids, just like any other protein is. So it's just a specific type of protein that is predominantly found in the skin. So it's become super popular wherever you go now. It's collagen this, collagen that, collagen creams, collagen gummies.
That's all you see on Instagram and online.
Shots,
powders, all different things. And then it's a minefield, because I wanted to start taking collagen supplements, but I haven't got a clue where to begin. I haven't got a clue where to start. Like you said, you're seeing all different collagens in different forms. And I just think, what is the best kind of one to use? Yeah.
And so there are lots of different types of collagen. There's different sources. There's like a vegan collagen now, which essentially mimics the amino acid profile of a human collagen. And there are marine collagen, or there's collagen from beef or from pork. So there's different types of collagens out there. There's also something called hydrolyzed collagen, where the collagen is broken down. The protein is sliced up a little bit more, so it's easier and quicker to digest. But in terms of the evidence for nails, skin and hair at the moment, in terms of hair, there's nothing really conclusive at the moment. Your hair is made up of keratin, which is different protein. There is collagen around the hair follicle, which is why probably the companies have suggested that there is a benefit, but there's nothing conclusive out there in terms of the evidence at the moment to say to take the collagen for hair. Similarly, really for nails as well, there's been a few different studies, but the sample size of them has been really small, so maybe they only had like 25 people in them that have shown that there's an improvement in nail growth and how brittle the nails are. But again, it isn't conclusive, so I wouldn't say if your nails are poor, definitely take collagen for that. For skin, there's probably a little bit more evidence there, but it's still an area where it's like possibly could benefit, but not conclusive. The creams probably are not worth using, because there
won't be enough in there.
Well, no, the more that your skin barrier will prevent the absorption of them, the proteins to a bigger molecule. I wouldn't necessarily recommend a cream that has got it in there. But the collagen supplements, there is some evidence that can help improve with your kind of the look of your skin, the elasticity of your skin, etc. There has been a podcast by a dermatologist recently that has reviewed it, and again, it's kind of, it could benefit you.
Like everyone's kind of different things,
But also, what the evidence has kind of showed at the moment, that if you stop taking it, then the benefit stops.
Right, okay.
So it's got to be something that you commit to.
Yes.
And you continue to
it forever.
take kind of thing for it to be a benefit. And I think the other thing you got to remember, there's no point, just like there's no point using loads of fancy creams that affect your skin if you're not doing the basics, right? So the basics in terms of nutrition and diet to help your skin, to make sure that you have a really varied diet that has got all of your vitamins and minerals in. So that essentially comes from a varied diet, having lots of different fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, pulses, herbs, spices. So you get all of the different colours of those have all different antioxidants, full of beneficial chemicals called polyphenols that have really great antioxidant effects in the body, which help kind of improve your skin and every function in your body, essentially. Staying hydrated, obviously, it's massively important for your skin, and using a really good SPF.
Yes.
So it's you've got to do all of those basic things before you then start layering on the other bits.
Exactly.
So I guess in summary, it could be beneficial. The verdict is still out in terms of skin. If people want to take it, they can. But it's got to be almost something that you commit to taking.
And it always should start, obviously, from...
Yeah, you've got to have the right
from your food and everything, because some people just think it's like magic. They can just start taking this and then they'll feel different. But you're still doing the bad habits of eating unhealthily, you know, takeaways, drinking alcohol, you know, different things like that. And some people then don't understand why their skin is like it is, or why their gut health is like it is. But obviously you do need to start from the basics. Everything is put on this earth to kind of help us, isn't it? You know, natural foods, natural sugars, you know, everything to start from the basics up, basically, isn't it?
And I think that's where you're right, the basics are where we need to focus. And it sounds really boring. It doesn't sound very exciting, but even down to, we know everybody isn't eating enough fibre. In this country, we're supposed to have 30 grams of fibre a day as an adult, and the last survey showed we were having about 19-20 grams a day. So nobody's eating enough fibre. That fibre is really, really important in terms of our gut health. We talked about gut microbiome, loads of emerging evidence in terms of the benefits, in terms of skin health, in terms of brain health, mental health, immunity. All of these really important things that really support the longevity. That if you're not doing all of these kind of basic building blocks of a healthy diet, then I think that's where we really need to kind of focus on, which is not
back on the basics.
Super exciting, but is really important.
I mean, it might be exciting, but it's interesting, you know, and that's, you know, we all want to be healthy. We all want to look after ourselves more, you know, we all want to be here for as long as we possibly can, you know, we want good skin and everything, you know, so... just basically take it back to basics and start from...
you've got to get those foundations right to start off with, and then build up from there. And I think the foundations, if you go into a bit more detail as to why they're needed, what they're needed for, and what the benefits are, then they do start to sound a bit more exciting.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Hannah, for coming in to chat to us today. The information is very, very informative. You know, I'm going to be listening back on this and writing everything down and what kind of foods I need to buy. Like, I feel like I need to go straight to Asda's now and just restock my whole fridge.
Buy a rainbow.
You won't be very happy with what's in my fridge, okay? Same fruit-wise, you won't be very happy. But do you have any questions? Do you have any like questions for us or anything like that, or anything that we haven't like covered or anything that you want to
so I guess the only thing that we didn't cover there, or we just missed talking about, is vitamin D and the importance of vitamin D. And it's something that I speak to all of my clients about, because the evidence now, particularly through the winter months, is every adult should be taking a vitamin D supplement. So that would be my key take home.
That's another thing I don't do.
So in the winter months, there's not enough sunshine in the UK in order for us to produce vitamin D. Other kind of ethnic groups that are all covered up, etc., don't expose their skin to the sun, should maybe take it all year round. But a vitamin D supplement is something to consider for every adult. And there's different recommendations for children and over 65s as well. Really good information on the NHS website that will kind of focus it. But vitamin D, really important in terms of helping support kind of your bodily functions, your bone health as well, in terms of the calcium and phosphate metabolism. So I would definitely recommend people look at considering the vitamin D supplement. So that'd be one thing, but otherwise just thank you for inviting me on. It's been great to talk to you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for coming back in to talk to us. And if you've got any questions for Hannah, just pop them onto the question boxes when we upload the video, and then we'll pass them on to Hannah, and then we'll try and answer everybody's questions then. All right, well, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you soon.